If you've ever been to Yoshinoya, then you definitely had one of their beef bowls. In today's recipe, we're going to be trying to make that a little healthier by adding a lot more protein and dropping the carbs just by a little bit. Also, if you know anything about this channel, then you also know that we're going to be meal prepping it for the week. So, let's get cooking up, guys. When we were in Japan, one of the best things we had was surprisingly at Yoshinoya, since they actually grill the beef and unagi on charcoals. Today's recipe is inspired by the meal we had in Tokyo, so let's get into it. So the ingredient list will be down in the description below, so make sure you get everything before you start this recipe. So we're going to be starting off today's recipe with a half pound of beef. You can go for brisket if you want to be traditional, or you can go for Aya brown, which is much leaner and less fatty. Up next, we got half of a large onion, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of mirin, 1 tablespoon of sake, 1 tablespoon of Monkfruit sweetener, 3 tablespoons of miso for the miso soup, 3 ounces of tofu. We got 1 tablespoon of green onions and 3 tablespoons of seaweed. And last but not least, we got Hondashi, which is basically a Japanese MSG powder. This step is totally optional, but you can definitely use it if you want to spice things up. So let's start by prepping up the onions. Let's cut the onions pretty thin and set them aside, as they're going to add lots of flavor and texture to our beef bowl. You can't have gyudon without caramelized onions, so make sure you don't sleep on these. So let's start off by making the sauce that flavors the beef bowl. Into a medium hot cast iron pan, let's place a half cup of water, 1 tablespoon of Monkfruit sweetener, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of mirin, and 1 tablespoon of sake for an extra layer of flavor and a slight bitterness. Let's simmer it until you see it bubble, which is a good sign to add in the onions, as they will take a while to get nice and tender. Place a lid on top to speed up the process, which will take around 5 minutes, and make sure to constantly check on it so the water doesn't evaporate too much. If it does, it's totally fine to add in a little bit more water. You should aim for a really thin gravy looking sauce. Now it's pretty simple from here. We just want to add the beef into the sauce and let it all come together. This allows the fat from the beef to render into the sauce, which creates an extra layer of flavor. You can also use the charcoal grill and marinate the beef beforehand using the same ingredients. That's how they did it at Yoshinoya when we went there in Tokyo, which blew our minds that they had charcoal grills there. It was probably a tourist trap, but it was delicious, so who cares. So now let's get to the miso soup. This is totally optional, but you can't really have gyudon without some miso soup to complement it. To start it off, let's add in 2 cups of water, 2 pieces of dried kelp, 2 anchovies, and boil it for 5 minutes. We totally forgot to add in the kelp and the anchovies to the ingredient list, so make sure to check out the description before you buy everything. Once boiling, take out the kelp and anchovies and then add in 3 tablespoons of miso paste. We tried 2 tablespoons, but you couldn't really taste the miso flavor at all. 3 tablespoons was perfect. After everything is well incorporated, you can add in the Hondashi if you want a boost of flavor, but it's totally fine if you don't want to add in MSG. I'll make sure to put a link below as to why MSG is not bad for us to eat in moderation. Then add in the tofu and seaweed and let it boil for 5 more minutes, and there you go, you got a quick and easy miso soup that will warm you up. Now let's get to my favorite part, which is plating up the food. Each meal came out to be 363 calories with 26 grams of protein, 47 grams of carbs, and 8 grams of fat, since we use Aya brown steak here. These are great for anyone looking for a small amount of calories for a large portion of food. That's really the beauty of meal prepping, as it allows us to prep our nutrition beforehand, so our calories are on point all throughout the week. If you want more protein, add some more beef or add an egg or something. If you want more calories to get beefy, then add some more rice or use some butter in the sauce. There's so many factors you can control in this recipe that can fit your nutritional needs, so play around with it and find what works for your palate and your nutrition. We hope you guys are enjoying these videos. We sure are enjoying making them for you, so thank you to anyone who actually watches these. If you want some recipes that we haven't featured on the channel, then make sure to check out our cookbook, where we feature some recipes that are perfect for your weight loss endeavors. We'll put the link in the description below. We hope you guys tried this recipe. I ate all 3 and had so much room for more calories throughout the day. These are great to eat, and we have so much more coming your way soon. Let us know what other recipes you guys would like to see, and we'll be more than happy to make them for you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys on the next one.